Hey guys, my name is Ace, as you can tell by the username, and as someone who was born into the female sex of the human race, I have the monthly reminder from Mother Nature that Eve ate the forbidden fruit in the Garden of Eden. Yes, today's video is about periods, as you can probably tell by the title. So what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be telling y'all my period horror stories. We are getting that intimate, that quick, that early in my channel. So I don't really have that many. I only have like 2, maybe 3, because I am the youngest under 2 sisters. So I kind of learned from their horror stories. Yeah, I'm gonna just jump right into it. So the first horror story that I actually have was, I think, a month before I actually started my period. But after I tell it, you'll understand why it's in this video. So basically what happened was both my sisters and I shared this room. Our brother was in the other room in this house, and we were cleaning out the closet, which, that exact closet right there. And we were like getting up on the shelves and like taking down like toys that we didn't want, and we were sorting through them for donations and everything. So I, being the youngest and the smallest, was the one who had to go up to the shelves and take everything down. And we didn't have like a step stool or anything in there, so I was using the dresser. And so one of the times that I went up there, I stepped on the dresser wrong and it started tilting, and I fell. And when I fell, when I collided with the ground, I didn't collide with the ground, I collided with a dollhouse. Crotch first. And it was so painful. I cannot even tell you how painful it was. Jesus Christ. It wasn't like a pointed roof, luckily, but it was one of the Polly Pocket doll houses where it had like the handle and you could carry it around wherever you went. Who's carrying a dollhouse, for one? For two, why with a handle? Why not just hold it with both hands? But, you know, whatever. So yeah, I landed on the handle of the dollhouse with my crotch. And obviously there was absolute pain right on contact. So this was in like middle school. So like it was like the early stages of middle school. So I laid down on the bed and I called my mom and I told her what happened, and she told me to go sit on the toilet because she wasn't home. She couldn't do anything. She didn't want to like try and talk my sisters through anything. So I went and I sat on the toilet and I waited for her to get home, and then basically she told me that there wasn't anything that she could do, and to just wear like a pad to try and stop the bleeding. Or, well, not stop the bleeding, but stop the bleeding from like getting on my clothes. So what happened was, when I landed on the dollhouse, I broke my hymen. And when you break your hymen, if it's not lubricated, you bleed. Plain as that, point blank. There's nothing, no ifs, ands, or buts, you know. So my vagina was bleeding, and it wasn't my period. And it was so painful. And then I had to go to school the next day. And when I woke up, there wasn't any like new blood on the pad. Like, I changed out my pad to go to bed, and there wasn't any new blood on the pad. So I decided to not wear a pad or even a panty liner. And like, I went the whole day of school, like, not worrying about it, basically. Well, I was worried about it, but I didn't like make it obvious, I guess. And my school was standardized dress, and so I was wearing khaki pants, and I bled. And one of the guys in one of my classes came up to me, and I'm pretty sure if I'm remembering correctly, I'm pretty sure the guy who approached me, I had a crush on at the time. So he came up to me and he was like, "Did you just start your period?" And I was like, "Fuck." And I was so embarrassed, and I like wrapped my sweatshirt around my waist, and like I was so embarrassed, and like I did not talk to him for the rest of the year, and like he sat right next to me, and so I would like hold my hand up like this so that I like wouldn't have to like look at him because I was so embarrassed, and I would just like not paying attention to him. And then the teacher would say like, "Get out your paper for notes," and I'd like pick up my pencil with my left hand, and I'd start like trying to hold it and everything, and he'd be like, "Aren't you right-handed?" I'd be like, "Not today." Woo. So I eventually my teacher did reassign the seats, and I got to stop writing sloppy notes. I think that's why she switched seats. I think she saw that I wasn't writing with my right hand because he was next to me. But yeah, that was very, very traumatizing for me. Yeah, that's story one. Story two. So it's these next two kind of like morph into one, I guess. It's not on the same day. It's not like the same thing that happened. But it's the same year. So they're very recent. So my senior year, I just graduated this past school year. My senior year was the year that I started using tampons. And the reason that I started using tampons is because we were out of pads when I started my period, but my sister used tampons. So I, grabbed one of the tampons and I, used it, and then, I was walking around my house trying to, get ready and everything, and I sat down and I could tell that it was in wrong. Which, by the way, you can put a tampon in wrong. You cannot put it in the wrong hole. It blows my mind when people think that they can put it in the wrong hole. Unless you're putting it in your butt, you're not putting it in the wrong hole. It blows my mind that people still think that oh, no, okay, I'm not gonna get into it. But I put it in wrong. It hurt a lot, and I went and I changed it before school. Luckily, I had time to. So I don't want to say that's story 2 because it morphs kind of into story 3, because the tampons that I had gotten used to using were the non-compact ones, the ones that were this big, because the plunger was already out, and not the ones that were this big with the plunger compact. And one day I was in second period. My school only does 4 periods per day. I was in second period, and one of my friends, it was near the end of class, one of my friends goes, "Do you need a pad?" And I didn't say do I didn't oh my god, I just said, "Do you have one?" And she was like, "I'll go check." And so I was like, "Okay, great." And so she went and checked. She didn't have one. And so I went to every single female in my class and said, "Do you have a pad or a tampon? Do you have a pad or a tampon?" And none of them had one. And I was panicking because I was like, I don't want to bleed through. I don't want this embarrassment again. And I got to my next period, and I was asking every single girl as soon as they walked in. I was like, "Do you have a tampon or a pad? Do you have a tampon or a pad?" And one of the girls was like, let me check. So I was like, oh my God, bless. And she had one of the compact ones. And she told me as she handed it to me, she said, you have to pull the thing out. That's it. And I was like, okay. Okay, thank you. Ask my teacher if I could go to the restroom. She said, make sure you come back before the tardy bell. And I was like, we'll see. And so I went to the bathroom, which was just across the hallway. I went to the bathroom and like, I opened the tampon and I pulled the plunger out, and I had never seen the box for the compact ones that said to hear the click. So I didn't know. I don't know what was going through my mind. I was panicking at the time, so I didn't really like think to you know, go like to pull it out more, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what was going through my mind. I was really panicking. I was trying to get there before the bell. And so like I tried to use it without the plunger fully out, and of course it doesn't work. And my like the tardy bell went off, right? And so I was really panicking. I was like, crap, if I continue to sit here and try and struggle, I'm gonna make a fool of myself when I walk in. So I took the actual tampon out of the applicator and I put it in by hand. First off, that fucking hurt. Second off, I didn't put it in right. And so I went back to class and I was like, sorry, there was a line. And one of the girls was like, are you sure there was a line? I was just in there and I was like, there was a line, okay? And my teacher was like, no, it's fine, just go sit down. We're gonna get into groups and stuff. So this was theater. And so we got into groups and we started like doing all our work. And I was trying so hard to ignore my cramps and ignore the pain in my vagina from an incorrect tampon insert. So I was like sitting on the floor, and then my teacher was like, get up, you have to cooperate. And I was like, fuck you. But I got up and I like went the whole class period and lunch. The whole class period and lunch with an incorrect tampon insert. Okay, that is 2 hours at my school. Okay? 2 hours with a tampon in wrong because no one else had a tampon, and I couldn't go again during that class period because she'd be like, you went at the beginning of class, you don't need to go again. But I got to 4th period. Someone else had a tampon, and it wasn't the compact one, it was like the actual like full-size applicator ones. And I went to the bathroom to change it, and there was so much blood that like it reminded me of the scene from Carrie, where they like it's prom and they throw pig blood on her. That's what it reminded me of when I looked. It was horrifying. So I ended up not having to participate that day. I talked to my coach and I was like, hey, this is what's happening. And he was like, didn't need that much detail, but okay, you're gonna be inside today. And I was like, thanks. Love ya. So it was very, very traumatic. So those are my period horror stories. I have not had one since then, and I have not had that many, as I said in the beginning of the video. So last week I asked a question. I only got 3 responses, so I'm not going to read them because 2 of them were just I love yous, which I love y'all too. I love everyone who commented. I love everyone who liked. I love everyone who subscribed. So if you liked this video, give it a like. If you liked me, go ahead and subscribe. If you want to talk to me outside of YouTube, my Twitter and my Instagram are both, my name is Ace214. No spaces, no underscores, none of that. If you don't want to talk to me separately, go ahead and comment. This week's question is, if you have a period, what is one of your period horror stories, if you have one? If you don't have a period horror story, tell me that you're lucky, and that you haven't had a period horror story, and that you have learned from my period horror stories. If you don't have a period, tell me why you are eternally grateful that Mother Nature does not torture you. So yeah, that is this week's question. I hope you're having a good day wherever you are. I hope you're happy. I hope you're healthy. And I hope you know I love you. Bye.